Hi, my name is Janine Smith and I'm a BBRT specialist. What I'd like to do today, and I'm really happy to do this, is to share an interesting case study with you where BBRT treatment had a huge impact on this person's life. I'll refer to her as Lady L. She was in her 20s when she presented for BBRT treatment, and she struggled with an overall eating disorder. But as we know, eating disorders are quite layered in terms of their presentation. But she sort of oscillated between binge eating and restrictive eating. So what's significant about this case is that she struggled with an eating disorder since being under the age of 10. So, this was quite layered. And being in her 20s, a lot of her patterns had already been quite established. But she was at the point in her life where she had met someone, and this was really impacting on the quality of her relationship. And so she really wanted assistance. And she had tried a lot of different interventions. And because of the fact that this particular presentation was so layered and it had a developmental aspect to it. So BBRT treatment was quite tricky, but it proved to be successful. The reality is that we needed to approach this at different levels, and also we had to take it a little bit slower than we would normally take the BBRT treatment, because of the fact that there was a developmental component to it, an acute component to it, and also learned behavior that we needed to target. But right now, she was really experiencing a lot of distress and guilt over having problems and her relationship with food. So we started with how she feels about food and her relationship with food and her associations with food, which were all negative, and that's what we started with. I would really like for you to hear what she had to say after her very first session, bearing in mind that she needed to have quite a few sessions to assist her because of the complexity of her presentation. So have a listen to how she felt after her first session, and just remember that the voice has been changed just to be able to protect her and for the purposes of confidentiality.
So I have to tell you, yesterday, just after my BBRT session, I got home and I usually have anxiety when I pass the kitchen to go to my room. But it was very weird, and I only realized afterwards. I actually went straight into the kitchen and opened the refrigerator. Now you must understand, I have never felt confident or safe to do so on my own. Usually I would need someone else in the kitchen for me to feel secure. That was the first change I noticed. Then before dinner, I would start to feel anxious and overwhelmed by questions about what I would like to eat. But yesterday I felt like I could approach my mum and tell her what I wanted to eat, and I felt so good about that. Absolutely no shame and guilt and avoidance. I know this all sounds strange because I only had one BBRT session, but practically I have been experiencing something totally different. And I'm telling you, I can get used to this. It's a great feeling.